What's going on, you guys? Today we are in Dominic's 2020 Lamborghini Huracan Evo. I mean, dude, you literally own the dream car. Do you feel that way or no?
I do with this one, honestly. It's definitely something special compared to a lot of the cars I've had.
So I know you've mentioned that you've driven some Ferraris, some McLarens. How would you compare the Huracan to those types of cars?
Yeah, so I've driven pretty much anything you can think of, and this is definitely something special. Like the Evo has way more front end grip, way more sonorous of a actual stock exhaust. So this car is completely stock, doesn't have anything done to it so far, and it sounds great. Shifts well, grip is good. And then this is a rear wheel drive version, so you still get to play around with it, have a little bit of fun in the different modes. And honestly, surprisingly, in Strada, it's actually really comfortable to drive.
And it still sounds good.
Yeah, for a supercar.
So let's real quick cover actually how much it costs to own a Huracan.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my dream car, and I'm sure a lot of people listening, this is their dream car too. So monthly payments, insurance, gas expectancy, maintenance costs. Yeah. What would you say in a given month the total cost would be of owning this thing?
Total cost is definitely sub $5,000.
Okay.
Even with all of that stuff, payment on this car, depending on how much you put down, or in a perfect world, if you get it with no money down, right, and your credit is great, then you're looking at probably a $3,500 to $4,000 a month payment with absolutely no money down. You're looking at $300 to $500 for basically the insurance and everything else. Gas obviously depends on how much you're going to drive, but you could budget a couple $100 for gas per month as well. So you're looking at about $4,500 a month.
Okay.
So yeah.
And you make more renting this thing out than it actually costs to own this car.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what? I mean, this is probably $250,000. Why Huracan over Ferrari, McLaren, everything else?
Yeah, so we selected this car mainly because it is one of the rentals that we have with my rental company, CCVG Exotic Rentals. So we already had a couple of other supercars, so we definitely wanted to add a drop top Lamborghini to the fleet for sure. We'll
definitely get into the business that you own, but you got this not really for yourself, but more for the revenue it produce.
Yeah, so I've had other Huracans before. I had a 2016 Mansory Huracan. Mm-hmm. It was a coupe, and I love that car. The only thing I didn't like about it, obviously with this one it's even worse, but is the headroom in the vehicle. I'm 6'1", so it's a little bit challenging to get in and out, but we make it work because obviously what's better than driving a Lamborghini?
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah.
Even me, I'm 6 foot. The legroom, I did a review on this car, so I'll link that as well, but legroom in here is awful and headroom in here is awful, but you can't really complain when you're sitting inside of this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Should we give the viewers a little poll real quick right here?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's do it. We're gonna switch over to Corsa.
There you just hear it come alive.
It's insane.
Yeah, so
give this guy a little bit of space and take a listen, guys.
Yeah, and then you even get a little bit of pops and bangs too, which is so cool from a factory tune and factory exhaust. Can't really beat that. That's
wild how casually you talk about this. So when you drive this thing, do you get are you used to how this thing sounds and feels, or do you still get it and you're holy shit, this is insane?
This one definitely still gives you that you're in something special feeling.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I definitely still get that. Wow, this is a really cool experience driving this car. And then even as funny as it is, the Vantage that we have, the Aston Martin, just the leather and everything in that is what really creates the experience more than the actual even driving of the car.
Right.
So but this car definitely the pops and bangs and everything is so cool.
It's cinematic. It's so much of a personality with this car.
Yeah, and it really is so awesome. When the top is down, obviously we won't put it down for audio purposes in here now.
Yeah.
Even having this window will halfway go down, and you can really hear the engine. They focused more on the driving of this car now, from the driver's seat versus just making a car that worked and was sellable. So
I can feel that. Yeah.
So they definitely wanted to gear this car more towards the driving experience, which is really cool coming from Lamborghini.
Another poll real quick right here.
Yeah, if you got.
Alrighty. love the feeling of when you go over like a small bump, like you feel the rear wheel drive like fighting a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And why did you go rear wheel drive over all wheel drive? Just because you want the like playful drive?
Yeah, so this one we were looking to be in a certain price point, and obviously the all wheel drive ones are definitely, you know, above 300K right now, which I
did not know that.
Yeah, if we were going to get into like Technica money, we would have gone for a Technica, but we still wanted the convertible with this car being, you know, like in the fleet. So the rear wheel is a little, you know, it gets a little sketchy when renting, but obviously, you know, we vet a lot of our people that we put in the cars, so we make sure it's in good hands before it goes out.
Yep. So what cars do you have in your fleet right now?
So as of right now, we have like a tuned 488 Ferrari. We have this car, which is a Evo Spyder. We have an Aston Martin Vantage. We have a bunch
900 horsepower.
900 horsepower twin turbo, which is all aftermarket stage 2 plus. We have, gosh, I mean, we've got so many different cars, an M4, an X4M competition. We have a Cadillac Escalade, extended, new body style, like all black on black, which is sick. We've got a bunch of stuff, a bunch of new body style G-Wagons. We really wanted to just create kind of a fleet that people hadn't seen yet in Charlotte.
Yeah, definitely.
And definitely variety was like beyond what we were looking for. You know, we wanted something that was going to be like that presence car. You know, like the G-Wagon is the presence car for Mercedes. You know, like this Evo is definitely a step above, you know, the regular Huracan. So while we could just get like a Huracan coupe and rent that, we definitely wanted this to be, you know, more of an experience for the driver, for sure.
So let's talk rental stuff. How much can somebody make doing an exotic rental company? I mean, let's say per month.
The sky's the limit, honestly. Geographic location depends on a lot. Car selection obviously depends on a lot as well. But
what are some of the like high, like often rented? You can charge a lot. What cars are like the I would imagine the C8 Corvette's a good one to get.
The C8 goes out a lot, but the rental basically cost per day isn't as high. So basically, the C8 will have to go out for 2 to 3 days, whereas this one can go out for 1 day. So you're putting, you know, 200 to 300 miles on that vehicle versus 100 miles on this vehicle. So, you know, wear and tear on those is a lot. Depreciation you have to be careful of. You know, always making sure that you're cycling through the cars before they get to a point where they're undervalued for the mileage. You know, like 30, 40,000 is where like these, you know, supercars tend to really, really take a big hit, and people won't want to buy them in the second or third, you know, market after the first owner has had it. So it really just depends. But I would say, I mean, this car can produce, you know, if it's out for every single day, you're looking at like a $30,000 to $40,000 a month. Just with this vehicle.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So let me run through a couple of cars and just off the top of your head, give the daily price or daily rate for the car.
Yeah.
So Huracan, this one?
So this one in Charlotte we rent for $13.99 a day.
The Aston Martin?
Is $7.99 a day.
G-Wagon?
Is $7.99 also.
C8 Corvette?
The C8 goes, depends, we have a coupe and we have a convertible.
Let's go convertible.
The convertible goes for $289 per day.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly, yep.
You guys have a Trackhawk as well. How much is that one?
We have a Trackhawk. We have it priced at $5.99 a day right now, just because I think we might be one of the only people crazy enough to rent a Trackhawk.
Yeah.
I think you were actually telling me that they're one of the most stolen vehicles.
Yep.
Which is crazy, but yeah.
Oh no, it's trying to. We ain't racing new body. Okay, so if somebody wants to start a rental company, how do they even begin with getting cars to do so? So obviously this is your Huracan, but the rest of the other vehicles, if I'm not mistaken, are basically a profit share thing where those are the owners, they work with you and they get you guys split the profit for the cars being rented out? Yeah,
absolutely. So you could do it completely on your own. And then you're flipping the bill for every single vehicle. Or you could do kind of like what we do, where we do like a client management service where we house, we store, help service the cars, and then we also rent the cars day to day for the owners, depending on, you know, whatever their needs and wants are for that vehicle. Basically.
So more than just renting cars out.
Yeah. So obviously a big part of it is housing the vehicle also. A lot of guys, you know, will have a house here, they'll have a house, up at the lake, or they'll have a house in Boca or in Florida or something like that, and they'll spend 6 months down there, and then they don't even drive the vehicle. So instead of having it sit in their, in their garage, they can have it housed for free over here with us, and then we can manage the vehicle and actually produce, revenue for them that wouldn't be doing anything. Basically, they'd just be either making the payment or not making anything if they own the vehicle outright on that car for 6 months while they're out of town.
That's got to be a good networking strategy as well, just to meet people that are successful. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the vehicles that we started with, obviously we started with an i8, business partner and I, and we basically just proved the concept with that vehicle, out of pocket, put everything into it just with our own money, and then once we had the concept proven that we could produce revenue well beyond what the actual maintenance cost, housing, the actual vehicle payment, all of that stuff is, it's crazy. You'll have people throwing cars at you.
So you literally started with just an i8 and just built it out from there.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty funny, but we, my business partner and I started with Turo, of course.
Okay, yep.
We posted both of our cars at the time, which I had an M2, non-competition, and then he had an Audi A4, and then we bought the i8 together. So we had those 3 vehicles all being rented on Turo, and the A4 would go out for weeks at a time and make decent revenue, but obviously much lower price point because it's a more economy driver. And then the M2 did pretty decently, 5 to 6 days out of the month usually, and that was priced a little bit higher because I was daily driving it. And then we had the i8, which as soon as we put it on, we put it at a really competitive rate, and it just was out all the time.
Did you finance that car? Or did you pay cash for it?
Yeah, so we put a pretty decent down payment on it. We did about half of the cost of the car, and then we financed the rest. And we mainly wanted to do that as well, so that way we could start building a reputation with the bank, a relationship. So we could show that we could make the payments, and then for the next car, we wouldn't have to put a down payment. And
did you do that with this one? Did you put a down payment on this one?
Yeah. So with this one, obviously, just because of the way the market is, these are overvalued right now in the eyes of the bank. So we did have to put a decent down payment on it, but there is some still finance, of course.
Yep.
So I definitely believe in leveraging your business credit and leveraging personal credit and everything, for your businesses and for overall just having more cash on hand, because you're paying such a small fraction of interest to the bank that, especially with this car, which is producing a lot of revenue, it just becomes a business expense.
So, Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, absolutely.
He'd love that.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. But yeah, I mean, it kind of just depends. And if you look at the most successful people, nobody right now is saying just go all cash besides him. And that's the thing, is it makes him sleep at night better knowing that he has absolutely zero net debt, which is completely fine. But in my eyes, I would much rather own 3 of these cars that could produce $30,000 a month,
as you pay off,
just one producing $30,000 as well. Plus, the other thing that you always have to think about in this business is, what if this car goes down? What if somebody crashes it? Whatever else. So
has that ever happened? Somebody crashed one of your rentals?
We've had some accidents and stuff. No total losses, thank God. But I'm just waiting for the call, because that's just
inevitable. Yeah.
But yeah. So not having all your eggs in one basket basically is the nicest thing too. So, and then as you build those relationships with the banks, if the car's in the shop for 15 days, you'd be surprised if you're with a smaller credit union or something like that. They'll give you some leeway time on fixing the vehicle, payments, all of those different things. So, as crazy of a world that we live in, person-to-person relationships is definitely still one of the biggest things.
That's never going to die. 2 quick questions. Yeah. First one, what is your least and what is your most favorite and least favorite thing about the Huracan?
I would say my least favorite is the headroom. My most favorite is the exhaust and the pops.
Okay, and then where can people go to rent these cars?
So you can go to CCVG Exotics. Basically, it's ccvgrentals.com or ccvg_rentals on Instagram.
Link will be in the description. Would you recommend people get into the renting business?
I would say if you want to give up your weekends to start before you get employees, yes. But otherwise, definitely make sure it's something you're passionate about, because it is a lot more work than it looks like.
Yeah, this guy's either I'm with him like one day out of the week, and he's always taking phone calls, cleaning cars. It may seem like you just hands off, like back up. No, like not at all.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting us check this thing out, man. Appreciate
Absolutely,
you.
bro.
Link is in the description if you guys want to check out his collection. Even if you don't plan on renting it, look at it, because it's insane. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Perfect, man. Lift system is up.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, that was awesome.
Hell yeah.